Hello, welcome to today's program. Today we are talking about lecture 8 and then hello, good evening. Today we are going to start about lecture 8 at the beginner level. So to cover the most of the Excel sheets what we have done so far. Just to recollect it, basically we have done a table like what you have seen in the screen. It is having the yellow color font or background on it and just a simple table. So I just made the table just to speed up the program a little bit so that we are not wasting time during the session for creating the table. So basically this one will go to the yesterday's class or lecture 7 which has a selection of the purchases, sales, whatever we are trying to do. Of course now you can see it's not appearing just because I have deleted the links behind it. Just forget about it. It's okay for that. Just leave this data, just ignore this portion. Okay, now the most interesting part is we're going to touch on what is data validation. Inside data validation, how to go there, go to the tab, data tab, and inside data tab there is a tab called or icon called data validation. So inside data validation there are many features which is available here. So we're trying to cover everything except the custom. Custom we will cover it during our intermediate or advanced class because you need to get familiar with the formulas, and I do not want to get people a little bit worried or scared during at this point of time. So going back here, the first version is the whole number. So if we go for data validation here, I just created a data validation. If you look at the cell C15, I highlighted C15. If we look at the data validation, we can put a whole number, minimum as 10, maximum as 1000. After this, let's copy this field across all the rows. Okay, then we just remove the data there. Okay, because we just trying to copy all the validation behind it. So now let's try the number 20 inside this. It's okay, 20 can go in. Let's try 50, it can go in. Let's try 1010. Yeah, you can see the error. So this error can be customized, which we will cover it later on. But of course, when you are making a file for a user, this becomes a very useful one. If you are entering only whole number within certain range, it allows, otherwise it just says no. So retry the number. It says data validation restriction. Basically we cannot enter any data inside this value. It doesn't work. So it has to be a whole number, and it has to be within the range what we are setting. So you can see this, it's a whole number. So if I put 952.5, it doesn't allow. If I put 952, it allows. So it's a whole number. Okay, so I've shown the range behind our settings so that it's quite clear for you that how you can test it out during your trials. You can play the video in the side in the corner, and then you can test it out in the same cell, same way, so that you are getting the same results. So if you have some trouble, as I mentioned earlier, you can always WhatsApp me or email me, we will respond to you. Okay, the next one is let's look for the decimal place. Under the data validation, I already preset this one, 0.0001 until 0.0009, same like what you have seen in the cell D13. D13 shows the range what you can do it. Okay, let's try this formula, because when you copy the cell, it copies also the data validation behind it. So you don't need to, easier way is just copy the cell, and then you can just do it later on. Let's enter a data 2. It doesn't allow. Let's allow 2. Yes, it's possible because it's within the range. Let's try. You see, it works beautifully. So again, you can do it for decimal place, like what we have shown in the sample. Okay. Okay. Now going to the data validation under the list box. So list, if we go for data again, data validation, and then yes, no, maybe. There are three options which we are giving. So which I already mentioned it here. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, is the same. So if we go here, data validation, and then copy this cell, copy to the bottom, and then remove it. Just press the delete, it goes off. It goes off only the data when you press the number delete. It does the key delete. It doesn't remove the validation behind it. So you see the same things. So how to do the text behind it is go back to data again, data validation, select the list box, and then put yes, no, maybe, for example. Then these are the three options which you are allowing. So no, let's test something else. Let's try no. It doesn't allow because you can only pick up from the list which is shown here, even though it's the same value behind it, but it doesn't allow. You have to pick it up from the list. So the next one on the data validation, now the same kind of list, but you can make a long list on top of the table so that this can be useful for you to do it during the sheet. So copy paste the same thing again. Okay, the validation has been copied. So trial only, can be, maybe, and then you cannot enter any other values which is not inside the list. It doesn't allow. So it's quite clear why we are using data validation now, so that to avoid error in our data. So once you set the files which is more proper and structured, there is no way the people who are using it can make any mistakes in the data entry. It just denies it, and then the people who are picking up the phone and calling you why it's denying it, then you can know why it's denying it. So that way you have a less time for administrating the files, which is little bit tedious for setting up, but later on it's quite useful. So here you can see I put in a range inside this file. This we had covered yesterday as well, so today we are doing it again. So it's under the data validation. Go for the date, select the allow date, and then date can be between or not between, equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, or equal to, you name it, it has all the functions. So we just put in a simply a dummy date, date starting from 1st January 2022 all the way until 31st 12 2042. So let's try it. 222043. See, it doesn't goes in. So let me try 222042. Yeah, okay. By the time I think I will be at 73 years old. Okay. So this works in the same manner. Let's test it out. 1/9/2011. It doesn't allow. So it's the same concept. Whatever range we have defined it inside the file, it works. Others, it doesn't allow. So here we go for the time setting now. Under the same concept, data validation, and then we go for the time setting. So we set, let's say it's a morning shift, 8 o'clock until 1959, and then you want to keep it at it is. It doesn't allow. So this is very useful when you are making a shift file or shift data entry for quality records, or even for the purchases or the sales. The time needs to be accurate, and then the time needs to be accurate. So otherwise your data can be jumbled up later on. So let's try it out. Another one, 725. It doesn't allow. It works in the same concept. So nothing much. So going for the text. So under the text here, I put in minimum 3 characters, maximum 6 characters. So here the minimum and maximum allows any text. Geo. Yes, it goes in history. It goes in history. Just put in a short form. Chemical. See, it doesn't allow. So it's quite clear now what is allowed, what is not allowed under the data validation. We had covered all these portions so far. And then if you have some question or suggestion, please WhatsApp me, or you can even put in the comments column. We will come back to you. Anything else I missed out? Formatting basic table, I just keep it in the same way. Okay, here one thing I would like to add in here is, like, let's say on top you have all these rules for you to remember. So it's advisable you just shift it to the shifting it this way. The formula is shifted together, so you don't need to worry about it. But if you shift it some other way, then you have a trouble. Why I'm doing this way is, like, now if you go in on the data filter, it works nice. Let's do it another way. Okay, now I do all the undo. Now I try to do the filtering. It still appears because there is a space in between, but it is never a safe manner. So it's wiser always to keep a space in between. So these references are very important when you're making the file. You don't mess up the file in future if somebody else is using it or some other engineer take over, so they're not struggling with what you left out. So the data are quite transparent here. So the easiest way is, like, you know that there is the cell, and this needs to be made inside the notes. Let's say the cell D, row number 8 until 11, we just hide it, for example, so that it looks more cleaner. But we just need to make a notes for the file so that the next user is not struggling where to find the information. If he's an expert in Excel, he knows how to do it. If he is not, then he's having trouble. So to avoid this, it's a human courtesy. So I think I covered all this, what was planned for today. Thank you for listening, and let me save the file. And hopefully you're practicing the same lectures in the same way what we are trying to do. And please like our channel and share it, as well as contribute to the society by sharing it, because it's quite free. And let's educate the community together, and then let's bring up the human mankind. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.